Hello, Capricorn. How's everybody doing today? I hope that you're doing fantastic, and I can't wait to share all the messages that have been coming through for the month of October. As always, you can use this for your sun sign, your rising, as well as your moon. And there's a lot of, again, a lot of exciting things to talk about today. Apollo wanted to say hello here at the beginning. I'm going to put him down so we can focus. Let's talk a little bit about the month ahead. First and foremost, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. If this is your first time here, you're in for a treat. There's a lot that we'll be going through. I break it down into four main parts. We'll begin with a channeled message here, which is what you see in front of me. Basically, before I show up, I usually get up early every time I do readings around 5:30 in the morning, and I sit here and channel the messages, get them organized, and plan out what's going to come through. This is me just tapping into intuition. So some of it is received in dreams the night before. The rest of it comes through as I basically write, free writing, automatic writing, and I receive the messages then. And so we'll do a psychic download. I call it the channeled message, part one. The second part is going to be when I connect with the cards that I've selected for you today. And we'll take a look at any of the high points, any of the challenges, everything that's in between that kind of gives you options and opportunities for October. And I let that be very organic. Whatever wants to sort of take center stage will. Then we'll, in part three, do an expanded forecast where we look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. I'll do a quick recap of that and then go into the soul path. And the fourth part is really both the soul path and the meditation, where we'll be looking at things that you really want to resolve to be the best you, to get you on that higher path and to really add some momentum or some wind beneath your sails. And then we'll finish it all off with a sound bath at the end. So anyway, some exciting things ahead. If this is the first time you're here, one more reminder, I think I put it, I didn't put it in the chat today. So you can use it for your sun, your rising, and your moon sign. You can cross watch. You can also watch on behalf of someone that you love. So welcome to use this however it fits you. And I'd like to welcome Ryan and Maria. Those two lovely individuals function as my moderators here. They'll answer high-level questions. You can recognize them because they have a blue name with a little wrench after their name. So they're here to help out, fix things as that icon would indicate. If you'd like to show some support during the reading, you can click on the this little emoji here, which is like a $, and that's a way to show super chat. I don't answer Q&A and I don't answer like questions directly while I'm reading because I basically go a little bit into a trance state and I need to focus. I'll periodically take a look and make sure everything's making sense. But after that, I have to kind of really just let the messages come through. So I will say this, I've been able to get 4 or 5 new decks over the past few months with all of the kind support that you guys have been doing through Super Chat. So know that it does make a difference. I'm using one of my favorites with you today. It's going to be the Sun and Moon deck. It has some beautiful imagery in it, so we'll be looking at that in just a second. All right, let's get started. So the first main message that came through to me was to basically simplify, to kind of get any of the noise that's around you or maybe kind of going on inside your head and just clear it out. So communication, I feel for Capricorn is going to be super important in October. So the simplification, again, main message, simplify. The simplification especially is going to be in the way that you communicate, the words, the methods, the timing around that. It's going to just kind of keep it very clear, concise, and don't overwhelm the audience at hand. Sometimes because Capricorn is a very methodical sign and wants to show the research and that you've done your homework and everything, you may want to kind of put all of that in front of someone. I think that learnings and kind of gleaning the high level takeaways from whatever you've learned is going to be what's most valuable to the people that you're talking to. If and when they want to dig deeper, you can kind of put that collection of data in front of them. But less is more, to the point is better, and kind of figuring out when and where to color in the details is going to be the challenge and the opportunity for you this month. But because you're practical, because you're intelligent, because you can kind of figure that out, you can handle this. I really do believe you can. But less is more. Let people sort of ask some questions and see where they stand as you're starting to talk about things that matter. So communication, clear and concise. When it comes to your surroundings, Also, less is more. I want you to focus on home and work. And now sometimes work and home are the same things, right? Because of COVID-19. But also remember the other places in your life, like your automobile or any other place where you kind of pack things away. The reason is because we're basically getting towards the last quarter of the year, October, November, December. So as we finish off the year, let's try to get rid of some of the stuff that might be anchoring us down or holding us back. If we go with the metaphor of a boat, we don't want things that are an anchor or weighing us down, because it's going to hinder the velocity as you go into the next year. And I really want to see you having some smooth sailing. This has been a bumpy road, right? 2020's been kind of crazy, enough turbulence already. So this is your chance to let go of some of that stuff. I've talked in previous readings and some of my instructional videos about one of the ways that I will kind of discern what to keep and what to let go of. All of us are capable of some level of picking up energy off objects. And you don't have to be skilled in being able to read objects, but if it's, I think I even used this example before, if it's a mug that you bought for yourself or someone else bought and you remember them kindly, actually I have a few of these, but one of them was from an administrative assistant that I used to work with. And every time I drink some water, I think kind things about that person because they realized I liked it. And I was like, yeah, isn't that a cool drink? Or a cool thing? It's recyclable and all this stuff. So if I think positively about someone, it's worth keeping. If there's a negative energy around it, like a disagreement or an ex-lover or something like that, where you just feel like, ugh, I don't want to remember that, then this is a time to find it a new home, to recycle it, or just to release it outright. So, but the other thing here, we're looking at environmental things. I think we got to focus on this as well. So meditation and clearing the mental cobwebs is super important. And those cobwebs can sometimes be important. You don't just want to sweep them out. Think of them as like dream catchers. Sometimes things are sticking in our head because we're supposed to go back to them or remember them or do something with it. So as you're looking through, really sort of figure out, do I want to refile this, or am I just ready to delete it, to let it go? Because there might be something that you realize, oh yeah, this is something that's important. That's why it keeps going up through my head. That's a form of intuition, a repetitive thought. So if something's driving you a little crazy, it's probably because it needs to be attended to. It needs some healing, because there's part of your higher self that wants to sort of like snap it back into your cognition. So really meditate this month. I put breathing on that. Breath work is going to be important because it moves energy. So if you're feeling a stagnation of energy in your mind and your body or spiritually around you, like taking those deep breaths are amazingly helpful. And when you talk to someone, when we were talking about clear, concise communication, have you ever noticed, people's sighing sometimes when they're like, if you're saying something, it's like they don't want to hear it. Some people aren't aware of it always, that they'll do the sighing. It is a form of self-medication. It's like, I need to take in some energy because this is overwhelming to me. If you hear somebody sighing as you're talking to them, take a pause and say, let's chat a little bit. I'd love to hear what's on your mind. It seems like you have some stuff that you want to share, or this seems like it's not gelling with you. What's going through your head? That's a good time to course correct rather than to just keep talking. But the fact that we sigh as a sort of medication, self-medication, shows us that our body and our sort of subconscious knows best that breathing will help. So make sure that you're not taking shallow breaths. Make sure that you're slowing down and that you're really taking in all that you can with the act of breathing. We'll do a little bit of that in our meditation at the end. In the space that you start to open up by meditating and clearing your thoughts, by clearing the physical surroundings around you, by even clearing the way that you think and speak, I want you to then pay attention to what comes in. When the cobwebs are gone, when literally and symbolically, what now are you starting to hear and see? When I do this in the morning, a lot of times I have to, if there's noises around me, I have to turn them off, like the air conditioner or something like that. I need quiet, I need space so that I can hear and see what's going on in kind of like the theater of my mind. So, and I just wait sometimes. That's why I need time. I can't just do it in 10 minutes. I need a couple hours before this gets started. So as I'm sitting here, then I start to, sometimes I'll hear a song, sometimes I'll see a picture, sometimes I feel something. Sometimes I'm pulling together what I saw from the night before in dreams, but I need time to analyze. So you're going to need some time to meditate, to think about what's next. If you're constantly in the fight or flight mode or work, and more work, then you're never able to integrate, analyze, plan, project, broadcast out what you want. And that last piece is super important. I want you to take some time this month to, once you've clarified, once everything here is crystal clear, then you're going to take that crystal clear vision and start to broadcast it to the universe. This is who I am. This is what I want. This is when I'm ready for it. And then you release that too, because otherwise it becomes almost too needy. It's just sort of like letting the universe know I'm ready. But you can't be ready until you're ready. So the first step this month is just really about clearing, opening, deciding. And then as you're going through that, the way that you're communicating is going to illustrate that clarity, if that makes sense. Thank you, by the way, for anyone that's doing a super chat. I will pin a little gratitude comment once this is on replay. All right, now let's take a look at the next thing. Speaking a little bit, this is like a segue into the next piece of information, but one more thing with communication, I want you to try to avoid crosstalk, where sometimes, like my mom's side of the family, when I was a kid, they all used to talk at the same time, which was funny at a holiday, but there wasn't necessarily a lot of active listening going on there. So I think that if there's an important conversation to go on, what you want to try to do is allow the person to talk a little bit. And if you need to then interject and say, okay, I heard all of this, I have something I'd like to add. Can I share what I'm like? Sometimes you're going to have to pull the cord and basically have your time, but then you're going to have to yield a little bit too and let them talk. So there's a little bit of this back and forth seesaw or a little bit of a dance when it comes to the communication. And if you're both trying to lead, it's a hot mess. So, sometimes one person leads, the other follows, sometimes vice versa. And the other thing that might be helpful are time limits, saying, listen, you've been talking for about half an hour. I need to say some things now. I need to interject. So give me a chance. It's okay to stand up like that. It's okay to kind of like get real. And I mean, if it's your boss, obviously there's going to be limits and ways that you can do it, but you can say, I need to verify a few things. Can we pause, please? You can ask permission. So it's important to kind of get your time in as well. Take breaks as well. So I think too much is too much. Like I said before, little tiny digestible pieces are going to be a lot better. There's a reason that I break these down onto cards rather than having one big sheet that we looked at and you guys would just think, what's he going through? So avoid crosstalk, listen, observe what they're saying on nonverbal cues as well. And then having time limits are going to be really important, taking breaks as well. There has to be give and take. And if there isn't, then it's not really a conversation, it's dictation, right? So decide what the point is. Sometimes if it's a company, that's what it is. It's here's our new policy and that's it. But it's better sometimes if you can open things up. If it's a love situation, if it's you and a partner, you and a roommate, you and a friend, it's got to be reciprocal or reciprocated. Okay, so that's about it for communication this month. The next big piece that we're seeing through is this is time for you to move forward. And I feel like for some of us, 2020 has been a year where we've just been waiting for things to happen. And I feel like there are some decisions at hand that require action on your part as early as October. It might be over the next 2 to 3 months, but I see sort of like a leap of faith that is necessary for you. I'm going to jump ahead a little so that we can talk about it, and then we're going to look at the other cards here. But the leap of faith, what I saw in my head were like a few cards. Many of you are somewhere between the Hanged Man and Judgment at the moment, which is I'm waiting and I'm trying to decide, or I've decided, but I'm trying to decide what to do with that. The Fool is what's really around the corner for you, which is the movement. And that's going to open up the world, which is expansion and new movement, new opportunities, new people coming into your life. So the first piece is the leap of faith. Nothing wagered, nothing gained, right? If you have something to lose, you have something to gain. So what you have to do this month is to figure out how to minimize the risk associated with things. So to assuage that fear, do your research, ask questions, speak to trusted sources, and get the information that you need. Information will basically dissolve the energy of fear or uncertainty. It will not erase it completely, but it can definitely take it to a point that you're comfortable with what you have to do. Do the math. Sometimes when when you're looking at like purchasing a house, quitting your job, starting a company, getting married, having a family, all of these things actually have a mathematic component. Can I afford this right now? When can I afford this? How can I get to that point? So I've been making some business decisions over the past 2 months that require a lot of math, figuring out, percentages that people will take, percentage of profit, and all of this other stuff. And you're like, okay, I guess I can't do that, or I have to figure this out. So sit down and do all of the math. You're Capricorn, you can deal with the details, get the details out of the way, and then you're going to be ready to move on. And that's the exciting part. Once you've done all that research and you release it, then abundance can start to flow in. It'll knock at your door, or it might rush right through it, but it will not come until you are ready to say, I'm ready. I'm finished. Let's bring this forward. Let's bring it on. So that's what I want to get you through, is this period up here of trying to go from I think I want this to I know I want this to it's happening and oh my goodness, here we go. So that's kind of what the last quarter of the year is opening up for you, is a new door. And I'd like it to happen for you before January if possible. So that's why anytime in the next several months, if you'd like to in the next several weeks, it really depends on what I was talking about there, the practicality, the mathematics. For some of you, you're going to have to look at the bottom line. And it's not always fun, because when it's creative or it's emotional, it's like, I just want it. Maybe you want the baby right now, but you can't afford it for 6 to 8 months to a year. So you have to figure that out. And the baby can be, like, again, figuratively, it could be a project, or it could be moving, or it could be physically having a child with somebody. So figuring that out is going to be a key thing for your sign. Okay. Next step is taking the lead. And you are going to be in a position this month where that may be something that you have to do, like it or not. Even if you are normally someone who would be like a wallflower, your leadership, your vision, your opinion is what's going to help quite a bit. In fact, if you believe in yourself, other people are more likely to do that. If you don't, then you're going to stalemate and stagnate and sort of be stuck. So take yourself seriously. And if you say something, don't be sort of self-deprecating in the way that you describe it. So, even if someone is asking you at work or in a social interaction, what's your opinion? You could say, from my point of view, it's this. Just say, well, I don't know a lot about this. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I don't know. Don't go through all of the qualifiers. Just say, obviously, I can't tell you what to do. Here's how I feel about it. And let them decide if it's good. You don't have to qualify it so much. Definitely don't say things like, I might be wrong, or this probably isn't right, or I don't have experience. Just say, well, you're the best one to decide. But if you're asking me for my opinion, this is what feels right. And it feels right because of this, this, and this. We may need to do more research, but that's where I'm headed at the moment. That's a lot stronger than all of those other things making you seem like you don't know what you're saying. If you don't know what you're saying and you need time, you could say, you know what, first of all, I'm so glad you asked. I would love to look into this. Can I get back to you tomorrow? I want to come to you with a researched answer. My intuition is taking me here, but I feel like we need to look at this, this, and this. That's how you do it. Don't ever say that you're not the qualified person to do it. Say you'd like more time. Say you have questions. That's a good question. Before I answer this, I have a couple of questions about this too. You can ask questions right back. Be strong, be inquisitive, be cooperative, be a partner. You're definitely worth talking to. And when you see yourself as that partner, other people will too. And you're going to start to get ahead in all aspects of life, your love relationships, your business, and everything in between. Okay. Speaking of all those relationships, things should start to move a little bit. The needle should start to move. If you're feeling like you're just sort of stuck in something, whether it's you've just been dating someone for a while and nothing's happening, you're looking to advance it to something more intimate, but that's not happening. This is a time to start to see some movement there. If it's only been one thing, but there's nothing else, this is a time to sort of figure out, like, why are we stuck? Is this what I want? Have I communicated what I need? And if you have a lack of reciprocity or action or movement or interest from your partner in anything, whether it's work, love, friendship, it's really speaking volumes. This is saying that the other person isn't invested. If we were looking at this kind of like going to the bank, it would almost be as if you handed them money and they're like, what do you want me to do with it? You want someone that's able to help you invest or help you get a return on that investment. So where are you going with key relationships in your life? Whatever those relationships are, business or love, it feels like there needs to be a little bit of balancing going on. So talk, heal, balance, and then decide. And that's your leadership again. A lot of this is going to be up to you. What are you looking for? What do you want? Have you communicated your expectations? The next piece was kind of, it was interesting. I almost didn't talk about this, but I try not to sugarcoat anything. If I see it in my meditations, I bring it through. So before I woke up this morning, one of the very last dreams and meditations that I had was, it woke me up and I was talking, which I don't do all the time. So there's something that you guys have to work out in this area. So what I saw was somebody that was not being treated correctly. And there was a group that needed to, like, there was kind of like a group decision that was okay for that mistreatment to happen. And one or two people broke from the group to help the person out. So it's about taking a stand. I didn't write it as such, but ultimately, if I were to add a new card, I would say take a stand. Is there someone in your life, or is there something going on in your life where you're looking at it and thinking, it's not right? You know, our laws are even like what's acceptable in communities, in religion, and everything. Sometimes it takes a while to catch up to what's truly right. So if you're a little rebellious right now and there's something where you feel like this is something like an ism, ageism, sexism, homophobia, or anything where it's sort of like, that's not right. I feel like that's not right. You're right. It's not right. And it's taking some time for things to catch up. And if there's someone in your life that is being put at risk because of norms that aren't acceptable, it's okay to step up. And if you're being kind of put in that corner because of these things, it's okay to speak up. It's okay to seek counsel. It's okay to try to make this shift. So this is a month for protection, education, and advocacy when it comes to these things. It's okay to break the rules if you're protecting someone, because the rules may be outdated. And that's why we're seeing a lot of laws change. They weren't actually protecting, they were making things worse. If you see anything like bullying or an ism or a phobia, then it's time to talk up or speak up and maybe be a part of the change to initiate new laws or new policies in that area. If you are protecting someone from harm, it's very unlikely that you're doing something wrong. So if someone is hurting, if you're hurting, if somebody needs your help, be the advocate, be the agent of change. Even if that means sort of having to do something that isn't what's acceptable, expected, etc. So it's a touchy area there, but I think you understand, and we can all discern in our heart of hearts if something's right or wrong, because it doesn't feel right. So if it doesn't feel right, then you are sort of that bastion of hope. You are the advocate. You're the one that's going to help, because we've all been in those situations. Even as a kid, I had situations where someone was like saying a mean thing or bullying, and it was nice when someone stood up or spoke up and said, be quiet. What are you talking about? That's ridiculous. Because it took the heat off of you for a few minutes. And even if you can deflect it or defend someone, you know, that's a good thing. Like, reflect it back to the person and say, why are you so focused on this individual? Go focus on yourself. Let this person be. We're trying to work right now. You're not welcome here. Get back to work. Even as adults, we see this. It's more subtle. It's not like it was in school where someone's saying something mean in the school lunch line or something like that, but it still comes through. And as adults, you're not afraid to stand up to the bully because you have a lot of other things that protect you and you know your power. So use that to help others, use it to help yourself. I had to bring it up because I saw it, and I'm not sure how it's going. Even if it is only helping one of you today, it was an important message to bring up. For the rest of you, it should be awareness to how what we do affects other people, and how what other people do can affect the people around them. So even if you're not being hurt, if someone else is, you can't sit there as a light worker and let that happen. You have to stand up. Okay. The next big thing that I saw was what's actually a small thing, but it made me laugh. I saw like they were handing me a new pair of shoes. And for me, the shoes indicate support and movement and taking action. We talked a little bit about what some of you might need to take action on. It could be a relationship. It could be this sort of injustice. It could be, leadership or communication, but action is part of it. But then support is the other piece. Support yourself and get the support that you need as well. So new pair of shoes. Maybe some of you need to go get a new pair of shoes. Look at your feet. If they look scuffed up, your shoes, it's time to get that. And then also remember to just come up for air, take a break, rest, because I saw the shoes as a conduit to get outside and get some fresh air. So that was the last message, and I liked it because it was a nice visual. So hopefully all of this makes sense to you, and we'll see some additional connections with this as I get into the cards here in just a second. And that's a nice segue to begin here. So let me stack all of my cards up and just talk a little bit about how I'm going to handle the next piece. Just like this, I need to focus. So when I pull the cards, I won't do a lot of talking. I'm just going to focus on what's coming through, what the messages are. And then I will pull the camera up and we'll talk about each and every card. If you missed any of these or want to see the cards again, the index cards again, don't worry. After I do the Celtic Cross and the expanded forecast, I quickly go through all of them and I'll hold each one up to the camera so you can read all of the words on it. I also post a picture of these on Instagram, on the community tab here on YouTube, and also on Facebook. It's a nice reason to follow me across social media if you're not. I do different things on different social media platforms. Okay, let's begin. There we go. Yay, Apollo. So I'm seeing some specific questions, and just a reminder that I don't take Q&A, but you should get your question answered as you look at the cards here. So I said it before, but I just want to remind everybody. All right, so let's take a look now at the cards, the spread, and the messages that are coming through. Okay, so I was like, yay, Apollo. Our catalyst this month is Apollo, and if we read the caption there, it shows inquiry. And so as I was mentioning earlier, one of the really key things that you can do this month is ask the important questions. And Apollo is a sun god, as you know. So one of the cool things with the energy kind of intrinsic to this particular god is the ability to really kind of be positive, to get past egos. I see that as and also to have control over the situation if you need it, because it's a solar plexus energy that you would see in this card and attached to the sun. So I want you to really stand firm and strong and tall in what matters to you, to not let somebody else's ego get in the way, and to ask the important questions. So if somebody tries to stalemate you, tries to put a roadblock in front of you, what you could do instead is ask for additional information or how that relates to things. You can dig deeper. And if you can find any information that can support your cause, your claim, or whatever's important to you, this is going to help quite a bit. And so don't be afraid to ask questions, to push back, to really get the answers that you need. and you have the power to do so. This is a very strong deity and a very strong energy. So that's what I'm seeing with this. There's also harmony with this too, because Apollo can be attached to music. And so I believe that you can find a way to sort of like bring things into a really nice place using diplomacy, even though we would normally ascribe something like that to Libra. It's coming through for you. You definitely have that ability this month, okay? Let's go to the center of the spread. We have the Ace of Wands, a big idea. For many of you, there's this feeling like, I know what I want to do. I know that this needs to happen. And you might just be sitting on that idea a little bit because we have the Eight of Pentacles on top of it, which could be development. It could be a decision on your side, like, I just want this to be a little bit more baked before I share it with other people. But notice how we see what looks like little hearts on this. I feel like a lot of people will be happy to connect to whatever this is. And it's more a decision on your part, like when you're ready to move forward. And for many of you, it could be something creative. So this is the initial kind of like working, development, learning. And then what we see here in the recent past here, and don't worry, I'll go through the other cards, is the Master card here, the Three of Pentacles. This is when you have mastered something, when you are ready to release it, when it looks amazing. I like that we see someone doing like street art in this particular painting. But what I would say is it's important for you to feel like I'm okay. Like sometimes things are never going to be perfect. But the question is it done? And it is in a place where it can start the discussion and people can enjoy it. So if it's a project, musicians, painters, writers like myself, there comes a point sometimes where you still want to work on it, but you can't. You have to move to the next thing. Some of you might be there. For the rest of you, it could be a sort of more symbolic shift where maybe it could be a job that you're in or a relationship that you're in. It just feels like everything that needed to happen has happened. So what's next? That kind of gets to the point where I said there needs to be development. So I feel like you're at a point now where it's time to release. And for some of you, it's time for recognition. This to me shows you've done everything that you need to be where you're at. The Three of Pentacles is sort of like, so where's the promotion? Where's the acceptance? Where's the next step? So for some of you, there's going to be a moment of comparing how long you've worked somewhere or how other people are in your position. Are they getting, this could be where the isms or phobias are that I was talking about. Something's going on where maybe you're noticing that I'm not where I should be because of something. So the good part of this is I see that you've done great work and it's time for something better. It's either going to be where you're at or somewhere else. And I think looking at how receptive your surroundings are going to help you decide, do I want to stay? Do I want to invest more in this relationship? Do I want to work harder at this job? Do I want to get another degree? Do I want to finish this painting? I mean, is the painting finished? Because it feels like over the next 2 to 3 months, completion, recognition, or graduation should happen on some levels. There needs to be another level that you are now seeing at the end of this tunnel. And if not, your crowning card says, ask some questions. We have the Page of, Princess of Swords, Page of Swords reverse, which is saying, I have questions, let me ask. Let me get some information about that. Let's go back to the deep past to make sure that you're ready for this. We have the Nine of Cups card in reverse. And so the most important thing that you can do to kind of have a smooth sailing October is to make sure that you're using your passion in a constructive way. I love the Nine of Cups. There's celebration. There's, again, almost a sort of undeniable kind of catchy sort of energy with this, because if someone's really excited about something, you want to be part of that. It's tangible. But if you are on the flip side of it, where it feels like I am disappointed, this is not going the way I wanted, I've worked really hard, and like we were talking about these things, Ace of Wands, really clear mind, Ace of Pentacles, hard work, Three of Pentacles, it's time for recognition. If it doesn't come together, you could just get angry. So what this is saying is, I'm passionate and I'm ready. I'm going to use that passion to help me get somewhere else or help me move on. Ride that sort of that wave into something else. We've been talking about that in 2020. Don't let the wave crash down on you. Use your passion to make something else happen if it's not happening where you want it to happen. Okay? If you're feeling a little sad or a little depressed, the Nine of Cups is encouraging you to get the support that you needed. I saw the shoes at the end, but this could just as well have been sort of like a pair of headphones so that someone could listen to you. It's time for you to have the support that you need. And if you're not getting it where you are at, then go somewhere else. As we now move into the recent past with the Three of Pentacles, if you're not in the habit of writing, I've been talking recently about the power of recording things, writing them down. That's part of this message. The other one, of course, a combination of Eight of Pentacles and Three of Pentacles. It could be finishing one degree and starting another. It could be going back to school and then trying to use that in your job. Definitely education, personal development, and expansion of the mind is a central theme, both like here and now, and then also in the past. So how can you take present and past experiences and build a bridge? Is there something that you can lean on from the past that people may not know that you have as a skill or a gift? Maybe you've swept it under the rug. Maybe you're able to sing and people don't know that. Maybe you have a really cool business side and people don't realize that because you're creative and they don't expect it. Whatever it is, break through those stereotypes that we were talking about and really fully realize who you are, and let other people do the same. You know, sometimes when I pull spreads and I see people at a life change or a life shift, I'll get cards that show like disbelief, maybe like the Two of Swords or the Devil or the Eight of Swords. People don't see it coming. They don't expect it. They don't believe it at all. Maybe even the Seven of Swords will come through. That's a normal piece with this, because as you start to reveal yourself, you're kind of breaking down that facade. You're creating something new, or it's like the wizard behind the curtain. It's like, this is who I truly am. So you might be going through a little of that too. Don't let that hold you back. Be direct, be concise, be clear. That's also what the Page of Swords is saying. The Page is the least sort of in your face of all of those court cards. So as we go to Knight, Queen, and King, they get more and more strong, more and more powerful, more and more direct. So this is the softer version of it, but definitely no less direct. You're still getting to the point. So less communication, more clear, but a little kinder. And that's what we see with that message at the top. Be kind to yourself, by the way, because whenever this card is reversed, it's also about sometimes treating yourself harsher than you need to, or holding yourself to a goal or an aspiration that is very difficult to achieve, and maybe a standard that other people are not holding themselves to. Be kind to yourself. Set the expectations realistically and put a positive message in your head. I've been talking to the past few signs about that. You have worked hard to get where you're at. The road has not always been easy, has it, Capricorn? The Nine of Wands is showing the struggle. It's showing that perseverance. You deserve everything that you've gotten and then some. It doesn't happen overnight, though. And sometimes you just have to keep pushing. That's part of this lifetime. So this is reversed because sometimes we just feel like I've had enough. But notice this really strong. I like that I think it's a woman. It doesn't matter anyway. Looks like this figure here is saying, no, I'm standing proud in front of all of these experiences that I've had in my life. They've made me stronger for who I am, and I'm not giving up. I want to get to the 10 of Wands. I want to move on to the next level. So you might have a roadblock, but it's not going to stop you. And that's what this card says, not unless you want it to stop you. So don't give up. Okay. Be perseverant, be hardworking. By the way, the Nine of Wands and even the 10 of Wands can show bullying or abuse, because normally you would see the bandage on the forehead, and you would see some like a scar there or something like that. So for some of us, even if it's not in the present, we're dealing with the scars from the past. Abuse takes many forms. It can be subtle. Verbal abuse is no less difficult to deal with than physical abuse. And it can also just be a lack of encouragement. So someone may have just told you that you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not whatever enough. This card is about pushing that out of the way and saying, that was your opinion. And frankly, based on the kind of person that person may be, you may not value that opinion. So that's one of the things you can release and recycle this month. Let that go and decide that I'm stronger than one person's opinion or one person's rejection. It's hard. Listen, as a fellow artist, I feel that rejection too. Like if you put something out there and someone rejects whatever your idea is, it's hard. But it's really, really important for you to be strong, to own who you are, and to allow for that to happen. Again, I'm getting questions, direct questions. A reminder that I don't take direct questions, but hopefully you'll get the guidance that you need here. Okay, moving now into your ego. And the ego this month has to do with self-confidence. And I was just hitting on that there. One thing to note with the Five of Pentacles is sometimes the people that we need most or expect most to come through for us are incapable of being the leader, the mentor, the support that we desire the most. So Mothers, fathers, sometimes even teachers, they can come through and they're just not capable of the support that you need. Now, there are many that are amazing out there, and sometimes teachers play the role of parents. So that was just one example. But the Five of Pentacles is someone that you look up to, so a mentor can be that. But there could be a mentor in your life that you expected more from, but they couldn't come through in the way that you wanted. Both the Nine of Wands and the Five of Pentacles are reminding you that you always had what it took. I like that in this Five of Pentacles, we see like one big pentacle, which is just like the Ace of Pentacle card. Basically, if you were looking at this, and it's saying, see the value, it's right there. And this is ascribed on like a church or a temple or a mosque or whatever. So this is like divinity coming through and saying, I can see your worth, can't you see it? The place of worship is always behind the figures in the Five of Pentacles. And that's showing that the divine can see you, it values you, even if the person right next to you can't. So I want you to start to see yourself in the same way that the divine energy does. See that value, step into the light, and realize that there's always help. This card is always in front of support and help, but the people rarely see it in the card. They deny this and they deny each other. So it's time for you to receive. Open yourself up to receiving, okay? So anyway, hopefully that answers the question. And this is a card of money, by the way. So I see questions about money. Be cognizant of that. The Five of Pentacles is a card that basically says that you can do anything that you set your mind to. I'm a lot happier with the Six of Pentacles than the Five of Pentacles when it comes to creating more debt or making a new investment. So remember I said earlier to do the math. Again, this is this question, but it's other questions, whether it's having a baby, going back to school, buying a car, buying a house. Everything and anything is possible, but you got to look at the timelines, look at the available things like loans and scholarships and things like that. And with this, there's a little bit more that needs to happen. It's right in front of something that would give you assistance. So what I would say for anybody that's in a position where they're looking to expand, looking to take something new on, go and ask for some help. See if you can have less debt, less burden. Everything else is up to you. If you feel passionate about it, it's all there. You can do it. You can finish it. Nine of Wands, you are hardworking, but you need to figure out the financials. And that was part of what I said in the channeled message. So do the math, find the help, lean on somebody, and try to get to that next level. If you are an adult, there's probably a piece of your past that you can work on healing. Again, the inner child is what I often see with the Five of Pentacles as well. We'll be pulling some cards at the end, past, present, and future. So I'll get some more information on that then. But for now, let's focus on the general spread. We'll also be looking at a wealth card in a moment. All right, looking in the environment, we have the Ace of Cups in reverse. A lot of you are kind of like this grounding stone for people around you, and it can get exhausting, right? So Ace of Cups is fantastic because it shows me that you have the capacity for unconditional love. The reversal of the card can sometimes show that many of you don't receive the unconditional love in return, or are in a position where your job or your history has just sort of set you up in a place where you give and give and give, but you aren't receiving enough. So set the scale even. This is pretty much aligned to what I was saying in the channeled messages, to just make sure that you get what you need and ask for things that you need in your life as well. It can work out. It will be okay. The fact that this is in your environment portends good things if you're looking for love, looking for partnership. Note that this particular card shows how cups, relationships are mirrors in our life. So if you're in that position where the cup is reversed rather than upright, what have you done to sort of maybe put yourself in that position where people feel like they can just keep drinking from the cup but not put something back in it? Have you set the appropriate boundaries? Have you said no? Do you ask for what you want? And are you happy with the kind of people that you're surrounding yourself with? The mirror side of this is saying, what part of this represents me? The people that, are doing this, this, and this, is there any part of myself that I can work on to not attract that? Because usually the mirrors in our life are just there to help us, to heal us. And even if they're driving us crazy sometimes, the mirrors being the relationships here, we still learn. And the sooner we can kind of integrate and understand the connection, the sooner the behavior goes away and we maybe attract someone different because we become stronger. I know that if I were to go back and meet myself 7 years ago, I would have a lot of advice and I probably wouldn't recognize the person. And that person wouldn't recognize me because we've changed. Every 5 to 7 to 10 years, it's like you're in a completely different person inside and out, but especially sort of up here and spiritually. So make the changes now. You're going to start to see them pretty quickly because that ace card is in the environment. So if you're looking for love, love can come through. If you're looking to deepen love, that can happen. But the first thing that has to happen is you need to feel balanced, and there needs to be more reciprocity in those relationships that are important to you, around you. We have the Queen of Pentacles right on top of that, and opportunities. This one actually reminds me a lot more of Queen of Wands, but that's okay because I love Queen of Wands. She's the magic one. This one is showing a period of growth after a period of basically stagnation. So again, a little bit of inspiration here from Queen of Wands, but it's still its own card. So see that little oasis in the background? And by the way, we have like it feels like it's a ram here. But anyway, this could almost be you here. But there is something here on the horizon. It's not quite a goat, I know. I was hoping. But on the horizon here, we have the oasis. So what I would say is you have maybe one more hurdle, one more month, one more quarter of the year to go before we see this period of growth. Don't give it up. The Queen of Pentacles is resourceful. All of the Queen cards are, particularly Queen of Pentacles and Queen of Wands, because they are about development and growth and nurturing. And so I see some exciting things on the horizon for you, okay? As I look at this card and I look at how much sky there is, what my guides are telling me, be willing to take the heat. That's the message that came through that I would never receive for a normal Queen of Pentacles. But that's what I'm hearing in my head as I look at this. So my message to you is if you want something enough, be willing to take the heat. So that could be to defend your idea. It could be because people just don't understand your point of view, or you're doing something that is going to make a splash. A lot of times, if you're really making a difference, you're going to have polarized reactions, like 1-star reviews and 5-star reviews, or I love you or I hate you. Maybe that means you're onto something really good. We also have a King of Pentacles here at the end. And when I get 2 of the same suit, that actually portends a potential union. Now, you ostensibly are the queen, but what I'm seeing here, irrespective of this, is with the 2 cards, one reverse, one in the upright position, we're seeing here a giver and a taker, or a sender and a receiver. Can we get these balanced? That would be my message. And that's what I was talking about the whole time. To me, I have to say, King of Pentacles is the card in the deck that takes the most. When it's on the upright position, it can be wonderfully giving, a philanthropist. But when it's reversed, it's someone who is unaware of how much they might be taking. It's not always a bad card, but it can just show someone unaware. So bring to light what you need, speak up. This can also be being willing to take the heat and ask for what you want there. So I feel a lot of passion, a lot of connection between those 2 cards, but I don't see a lot of balance. So if you're going to go deeper in a relationship, mutual respect is important, and balance and appreciation. Sometimes I like it better if I get 2 queens or 2 kings because they're on the same sort of level. So just remember not to underestimate or overestimate your power dynamics in a relationship. It should be a little bit more evened out. And that's the message there, no matter what it is, whether it's friendship, work, or love, but especially love, okay? And that's possibly what's making some of you feel less than or a little bit upset with these 2 things. Okay, let's expand the forecast. We're going to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny next. Starting with your health card, which encompasses mind, body, and spirit. The card was reversed, but I don't read upside down, so I need to pull it up right. The moment that I embrace my peace within and surrender the outcome, that's the moment that the universe can try to get to work. So again, embracing the peace within. This is kind of what we were talking about earlier with like clearing your mind a little bit, and also being at peace with what you're trying to do, and surrender to the outcome. Basically feeling at some point that you've done everything that you can do. And this is what I was talking about going between, welcome to the new member, by the way. This is what I was talking about where I was kind of drawing it out here. Let's see, it was this one where you're basically between, I can remember it, Hanged Man, Judgment, Fool, and World. And so I feel like this is what we're seeing here. Are you ready to kind of release and move forward? Once you can do that, then new things start to come rushing in. So this whole card could be seen as judgment reversed. Because judgment is acceptance, understanding, and release. So acceptance, understanding, and release, which will bring in the universal flow of energy. So are you ready? Something that I've been repeating, I feel like for 2 or 3 months. Are you ready for that next phase to happen? If you are, then the universe is ready. But right now it's kind of stuck at the door, trying to look in the peephole saying, where are you? I'm ready. Are you ready? Judgment also is accepting and embracing things. So you have to accept and embrace yourself and then move forward. And you can recreate with that energy. Let's look at some other messages for health really quick, and then we'll move along to wealth and career. All right, so what I like at the center is I feel like most of you are in a really clear mental state. So good. Some of you are just feeling a little worn down and might need to do some healing in your body. And the 9 of Wands can actually sometimes be mental fatigue. And it can even be like an acute migraine, because if you ever look at the card, the pain's like right there. So it could be on your right or your left-hand side where you just feel like this pain is going in your head. I really want you to focus on meditation, making sure that you're eating well and sleeping well, and doing whatever you can this month to alleviate that. Because with the energy of judgment, which I saw in the channel message and which I can kind of see the energy of just in this card too, it's the pressure that we put on ourselves that can sometimes cause some of that. So do what you can to alleviate and release that. And with the 2 Pentacles cards, the Queen and the King, and I was talking about imbalance. So some of you might be trying to figure out, it could be diet, it could be exercise, but how can I get to a better place? And you could be going from one extreme to the other, which is the 9 of Cups. So trying to bring balance in emotions and also like physical exercise is going to be also really, really important. Let's move on to your wealth card. So we have Cernunnos here, life force, express your driving passion, sensual and sexual powers are increased. And I believe that it is the Druid Craft deck that has this card actually as being the devil, which is interesting. I don't necessarily see it as good or bad, but I can see sometimes how sensual, sexual powers and passion can be things that can trip you up. And so this is in the workspace. And I would say if you are really in your energy of feeling good about what you're doing, so using those lower 2 or 3 chakras, then it's good. You're going to find your power. It's a good card. But if you are not feeling it, or if someone else is making you feel bad about something that you want to do, then it does kind of take on the energy of the devil, which is making you feel ashamed or feeling a sense of not being empowered. So getting behind what you believe, again, is coming through pretty loud and clear. And this life force that's intrinsic to those lower chakras is saying, it's okay. You really should be connected to what you're doing. In the last century, and even probably the centuries preceding that, a job was just a job and it was necessary to sustain the family and everything. We're getting to a point now where we can maybe have a little bit more control over what we do, why we're doing it, when we do it. At the very least, if you're not feeling what you do for a living, you should be creating something passionate on the side that does make you happy, that does get you excited about living in this world. Because there is more than just waking up, working, and going back to sleep. So this is about connecting to your life force and your life purpose, even if it's not in your job. Or if it's not in your job, we have schooling cards at the center. Is there a way to take that step? And somebody was asking about, should I go to school? Well, these are yes cards. That's yes, you should go to school. This was a financial card saying, figure that out. So for those of you that are looking at training, at looking at the next steps, as I said earlier, it's really about focusing on how to make the financials work. But it feels like you need to feel like you're empowered and passionate about what you're doing. So that's basically all of the pieces that you need to know. You should be excited. And if you're not, then you should find a way to do something that you are. And then you need to kind of look at the financials and the timing to figure out how to make that work. And that's kind of what I'm seeing there. And if you're already in your passion and in your flow, then some really cool things can happen. And I like that we see the Queen and the King of Pentacles in the outcome, which are very good money cards. And the Queen and the King of Pentacles show graduation and show empowerment and show the ability to bring something to fruition. So if you choose to put your time and energy into something, mind, body, and spirit, chances are you can see it happen. Looking at love and relationships, we have compassion here. And it says, release judgments about yourself and others and focus on the love and the light that is within everyone. Amen to that. And that actually has a lot to do with the very final thing that I pulled in the channeled messages. If somebody needs your help, show them compassion. If somebody's not being supported, again, step in and be the compassionate one that defends them. It's so nice when you need help to have someone actually be there and just offer it up without asking, because that's unconditional love and support. So I think that's really great. It's a really great thing. Release judgments about yourself. This is super important. So if we can't love and forgive ourselves, how can someone else do the same, right? And I think that's probably the biggest and most important thing with respect to relationships this month is, if you've done something either in the past that you're not happy about, or in this relationship, maybe if you're in one that you're not happy about, or if you just want to heal the way for future relationships, it's really about seeing yourself as a work in progress, loving and forgiving yourself, embracing the good, the bad, and the in-between, and just thinking, I'm going to build upon this. But unless you forgive yourself, the foundation is shaky and you can't build upon that. Looking solely at the cards here, one thing that I think is important is reaching. Okay, so the way to overcome the Five of Pentacles is to reach out. You can say, I'm sorry. So if you were the one that wasn't there for someone else, a valid way to acknowledge that is to say something like, I could have done better. I wasn't prepared for what happened, but I am now, if you'll accept my hand. So if you were a parent, if you were a friend, if you were a former partner, just simply taking accountability. I should have done better. I could have done better. I can do better now. That's it. It doesn't have to be this sort of like beating yourself up, and the other person shouldn't want you to do that. You should be heartfelt in how you communicate it, and then let it be possible for something to come through as a healing, but you can't force it. The other person needs to accept the apology. If they can't, your apology is at least the first step. If you are on the receiving end of this, or if you wish you could get the apology and it doesn't happen, again, looking within and thinking, what did I learn? Well, I survived, didn't I? I'm stronger than I thought. And then look at the person, think, well, they're deeply flawed. Maybe they don't have the capacity to say this. Maybe I can learn from that and make sure that I don't repeat their mistakes. No matter where you're at, you're going to be okay. But this requires a little bit of love and a little support. If you do this, then we're going to see balance in the present and future relationships, because this is the future, and we don't want to attract the King of Pentacles reverse. We want another Queen of Pentacles to come in, although that's impossible in the way that cards are pulled, but we want a similar energy, or another queen type energy to come in and nurture and love you, or both of you to be kings and both of you to be upright. So loving yourself, balancing the past, receiving or giving apologies, cleaning things up. That's what we were talking about earlier, and that will help quite a bit. And finally, clarity. I saw a comment there about trying to figure out life purpose. There's never, okay, when we were a kid, people ask us, what are you going to be when you grow up? Well, what is growing up? We're always growing up. We never stop. We never stop growing. So it's okay to keep redefining who you are and what you want to do. So don't put limits on things. Look and see what it is that makes you happy, what makes you passionate. I think, like, if I'm ever coaching someone, a lot of times I'll just ask them, if you could fill your day with whatever you wanted, what would it be? If it's playing games, there are ways to monetize that. There are things like e-games and esports now, so you can absolutely make a living at doing something like that if you want to. But if it's something else, like, kind of look at what it is. What do I? If you're a reader, maybe you can be an editor. If you just enjoy art and design, maybe that can be part of what you go into. Like, find your passion and explore it a little bit. Don't let age be a component in that decision. All right, I'm mindful of time, so I want to now review what we've talked about and make sure that I have enough time to get into the soul path, because I could talk all day. I don't want to keep you guys here all day. All right, so the channeled messages. Simplify. It's really important as you're communicating to say things clearly, to not overburden people with too much information. Clear, concise, to the point. You want to remove the clutter around you in different spaces, but also, more importantly, it just stuck here. Yeah, more importantly, the mental clutter as well. So you're going to need to meditate and clear your mind in addition to clearing your space. So in the space that you've created, both figuratively and literally, then you want to start to open up and ask for guidance about the abundance, about the next steps. Broadcast this new clear vision, which we saw here in the crystal card at the end, and really start to put some energy, put some life into that plan, that goal, that vision, that wish. In communication this month, avoid crosstalk. Listen, observe, try to have time limits, take breaks as needed. Both sides need to give and to take, and if that doesn't happen, then it's probably better to set a different time or set a different space for this to take place. It's time for a leap of faith. The question is, are you ready for that leap of faith? To let go of any of the fear, do your research, ask the questions, and speak to trusted sources so that you have what you need to move forward. Do the math. We were talking about that earlier. Literally, the financial component needs to come into place. Once you release the indecision and hesitation, opportunity starts to rush in, or at least knock at the door. And this will take you from this feeling of uncertainty or indecision into taking the leap and moving towards the opportunity in front of you. Leadership and vision are key focal points this month. You need to invest in yourself, even if other people in your life can't. That was the Five of Pentacles, basically. And that's questions about, what, should I do this? Should I go back here? Yeah, if you want to, but you're going to have to figure out how to make that work. But the answer is yes. Take yourself seriously. Others will follow. If you don't, the same is true. Relationships, as we see here, need to go to the next level, and they should have balance. And we weren't necessarily seeing all of them being balanced right now. A lack of action, movement, or decision constitutes communication. So no progress is no progress, and that might be a signal for you to move forward and move on. Now's the time to talk, heal, and balance out all of the scales. Reciprocity, basically. It's okay to speak up, break the rules even if you are trying to protect or help someone. If you see bullying, any of the many isms or phobias that might exist out there, it's important, I would say, even part of your responsibility to move forward and make sure that that doesn't happen. A lot of times it takes laws and policies time to catch up. Maybe you're part of the change in that so that they can happen faster and represent reality. You want to protect, advocate, and educate, basically. There is support to be had, but you might have to ask for to lean on it. When I saw the new pair of shoes, it's time to get the support that you need and take the action that's necessary in your life. Make sure that you come up for air and take a break, take a deep breath, because sometimes we can get too overwhelmed with everything going on. One of the visions that I saw, but I just run out of desk space sometimes, was this feeling of drowning, and that's why it was important to come up for air. For me, water is emotional too. And as we look in the deep past at the Nine of Cups, that energy of drowning or feeling overwhelmed does come through, and it jogged my memory. Many of you have a great idea. It's important for you to take action on that. The Eight of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles is learning, graduating, is discovering and sharing, is earning your sort of dues here, because it feels like many of you have paid it, and now it's time for them to come back, some reciprocation or payoff. And if it's not happening where you're at, it might be time to move on or to speak up. And that's what we see with the Princess of Swords here. Sending and receiving messages in a clear and concise way, totally what we would see with a princess or a page. So that's the message there. Don't be too critical to yourself or to others. Nine of Wands, don't give up. Also focus on, if you're feeling any sort of headaches or migraines, take care of yourself, take a break, rest, as I said earlier. Five of Pentacles, also focus on the extremities. It's not so apparent in this card, but when we look at your knees, your legs, your ankles, you want to be careful with that space and make sure that you're not overdoing anything. Circulation is super important as well with this, so get out and move a little bit. With the Ace of Cups here in reverse, and then also attached to a relationship where the power dynamics are off a little bit, just make sure you're getting what you're putting into things, basically. Both of your Cups cards here, the key cup cards, are reversed. So again, it needs to feel right. And we have a passion card here when it comes to work and school. Are you passionate? Are you excited about what you're doing? Or has it sort of lost the thrill? And if it is, then it's time for you to move on. Or if it has, rather, it's time to move on. Queen of Pentacles, King of Pentacles. Could be also 2 new job opportunities, 2 new relationship opportunities. You have choices. The good news is it's up to you, and you seem to have a pretty clear mind this month. So lean on that. I neglected to talk a little bit about your catalyst card. And so basically ask the tough questions. That's what Apollo is really saying. And don't underestimate your power. Don't overestimate it either. Like, this is really about being real and having balance. So there should be kind of like twin star energy with your relationships. If it's one shining brighter than the other, it's time to kind of look at those dynamics. This was really judgment. There's a lot of words on it, but it was really judgment. So making a decision in your life to fight for what matters, to forgive yourself, and to really step into the next big thing is what's coming through for health. It will make you healthier. It will make you happier. For wealth, you've got to feel it. If you're not feeling it, it's time to look at something else. Life force is the central sort of meaning of this card. Be compassionate towards yourself and others. Step in if someone's lacking that compassion, or quite literally is showing the opposite, is cruel. There's no room for cruelty or for pain and suffering with other people. You have to step in, you have to help. If someone in your life is not being compassionate towards you, your love interest, your friend or family member, it's also about defending yourself against that. Finally, focus on the crystal clarity that we were talking about way back at the beginning. What are you broadcasting out to the universe? Give yourself permission to keep changing as you get older. We're not always going to do the same thing. Just because you wanted to be a doctor, a hairstylist, a mechanic when you were 10 doesn't mean that when you're 50, you're going to want to do the same thing. So give yourself a chance to change. It's showing that you're growing as a soul, not that you're, not able to kind of do the same thing forever. Now, if you're changing your job every week, that might be more concerning, but I would say it's normal for most of us to have ebbs and flows, and maybe every 3 to 5 years want to change or try something new. So give yourself a chance to do that. All right, let's move into the soul path. We have just about enough time to do this, plus a meditation. I want to focus on the intensity of emotion that I'm seeing between the 9 of Cups and the Ace of Cups, and also the Cernunnos note about passion. Let's look at passion. What's going on with this? How can you connect to it? How can you feel more passion? Thank you, everyone, for the kind support. Love and light to you, too. All right, so let's take a look at the passion message. 2 of Cups. 2 of Cups reversed. Of course, all of your Cups cards are actually in reverse, but the 2 of Cups is friendship, partnership, and allowing others in your space. It feels like some of you have just been hesitating to let someone else in. And as I'm looking at the 9 of Cups and the Ace of Wands, I'm going to ascertain that for some of you, it could be a distraction, or it could be like there's extremes. You're really, really feeling that love, feeling that connection, or you're not. And so only kind of interact or allow for that energy to come into your life, the 2 of Cups, when it meets your standards. It feels like many of you have high standards. But start to set the idea into the universe that I can find what I'm looking for. It may be hard. It may be a needle in a haystack, but I have good eyesight, or I've got my glasses on. I can see that needle in the haystack. So give yourself high standards, but then also believe that a miracle can happen, or that you can connect with that soul, because I believe you can. And if you're with somebody right now, this is really making sure that you see each other eye to eye. This particular card shows people that are really just enjoying one another's comfort. It's not so sexual or sensual. It's really eye to eye. And we have a lotus kind of petal there, which is more about the spiritual connection, which is why for many of you, I'm ascertaining that this has to do with a deep partnership, right? And so when you're calling someone into your life, or when you're trying to call to their soul and make sure that they're seeing you, give it time, be patient. But at a certain point, if there is a relationship and that person isn't, you can even see it here in the mirror. If they're not mirroring back what you're giving to them, then this is your time to sort of like wait for someone else to meet that reflection that you truly see, the potential that you truly see. So see your love, see your light, let others see that. And if they can't, release them and open that up so that you can share that partnership with someone. The love is there, the light is there. 9 of Cups, Ace of Cups, 2 of Cups. Let yourself receive. That's really the main message with the Cups in reverse. It's time to get it back. It's time to receive. Your Three of Pentacles, which also should have been a receiving card, receiving acknowledgement and accolades for the work done, was reversed. So I think one of the things you can meditate on over the course of now through the end of October is I'm someone that brings love and light and value to this world. I love myself. I'm ready to receive love and abundance and opportunities of the highest light from others. It's good to kind of clarify. We don't want to just receive opportunities. It needs to be of that high energy of the love and the light of the divine. So set that intention, make that part of your mantra on a day-to-day basis, and you should start to see movement. Okay. Sorry, I was reading chat there. There may be a chance for some revisions with the Eight of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles. So let's look at that next, since chat is taking us there. Eight of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles. Why are you holding on to something? That's what I want to know. And where's the recognition? Where's the love? Let's see where it's at. Because then we have a lot of pentacles here with the Queen and King of Pentacles. So how can we get you into the flow of abundance? And we're looking more now at probably like opportunity and work and things like that. Well, we've got the Four of Wands, which is another partnership card. This one's interesting because it's, again, we're seeing a lot of mirrors in this particular deck. And this one, the Four of Wands, is actually climbing onto the Wheel of Fortune, even though it's not the Wheel of Fortune. A quick glance, I'm like, wait, that's not the wheel. So what we see here is that there is more power in a group or in a really strong connection, because the Four of Wands can be a partnership where you've tied the knot or signed the contract. So for those of you in a business contract, this is literally saying, I'm going to do it. Let's sign. Let's get this going. So for some of you, there's just that commitment. But what we need to see in all of these is reciprocity. Mirror images is what we're seeing. Make sure that the person that you're working with has the same insight as you. And if you're looking to release something to the world with the Three of Pentacles, then what you probably are looking for is a set of eyes to kind of give a final approval. If it's a construction project, this would be the inspector that knows exactly what to look for. They're not trying to kind of like find a problem that doesn't exist, but they're also trying to make sure that you don't release something that has a structural issue. You know what? I'm not seeing major issues here. These are good cards. It's really just about trusting yourself and finding someone that can trust you. And if you can't, then do it yourself, because these are still attractive cards. The Two of Cups and Four of Wands show me that even if you do it on your own, people will come. There's an attractive energy. So loving yourself, trusting yourself, building connections between you and other people that have that you also trust. Trust is the key thing here. Trust yourself and trust the connections that you're building, and I think you'll be okay. I like that this Four of Wands is basically the Wheel of Fortune. So one key connection, one key partnership, one key signature, and I feel like you're very close to something happening. Okay. I want to look here. I want to go into the Five of Pentacles a little bit, even though it's not the future. It's holding back the future. So what is it that you need to know that we haven't already seen? Woohoo, the Star. And she's been coming through quite a bit this particular month. So in the upright position, the Star shows complete connection to source and integration. It shows power. It shows visibility. You are not a wallflower with this at all. With the card reversed, and for some reason, your soul space had a lot of, well, we're in a retrograde mid-month, so that makes sense. This is about not second-guessing yourself, not muting your fire, not trying to fit into someone else's painting or mold or idea of who you are. You are your own person. In this particular deck, she's a mermaid. Maybe you're a merman, whatever. You need to be your own person and shine brightly and be different, and it's going to be okay. And so an unconventional approach, a singular sort of energy is what's really going to be important. So no more holding back, because if we look at all three of these in the upright position, they're darn good. This is about friendship, partnership, love, acceptance. This is about a deepening of that bond. This is about the highest possible connection to source. It could also mean a deep soul connection. If you're not with the one that you love yourself and wait for that connection to come in. Trust in everything else that you're putting your time, your energy, and your love into, and we see a really high divine union coming in. So I see some really great stuff here. So for whatever reason, you're here. I want you to reverse those. Trust and love yourself. Develop the kind of connections and relationships that you want, and don't edit anymore. Just be who you are, okay? Beautiful cards. Even reversed, nothing bad in those energies, because those reversed, they're just not, it's not bad. It's just more about reciprocity. So I think it's time to stand up for yourself, to get your due, to ask the questions as Apollo was showing us here, and make it happen. All right, we have just enough time to meditate, so I want to make sure that I add that in before we finish everything today. So I would love for anybody that's here that enjoyed it today to please hit like and subscribe so that you'll get notifications in the future, and so that YouTube can tell that this was something worth watching. As I look at the cards in front of me, there's so much love to be had in that last sort of spread. I'd really like to focus on sort of the mirror of the heart. And I like the reflective energy in the Two of Cups here. So we're going to do some work with our reflection today so we can see our true self, our true worth. Maybe you can even imagine that you're sitting on this giant sort of lotus petal looking at the water as we begin the meditation. This meditation will be about 2 to 3 minutes, and the sound bath as well. So stick around if you can, and we'll wrap up after that. All right, close your eyes, relax, take a nice deep breath. On the exhale, I want you to let go of any tension that you're holding on to in your neck, your shoulders, or your back. Good. If you need to gently move your neck from side to side, you can do that. If you just want to stand still, you can do that as well. Imagining that you could feel the support that we saw in that beautiful lotus petal. Imagine that you could lay back and it's almost as gentle as a hammock. And I just want you to feel supported for a moment in that beautiful petal. Our crown chakra is kind of called the lotus petal because it has all of these thousands of points of energy that open up. So as you're within this flower, I want you to feel like each and every energetic point on your body, we have more than 7, by the way, is going to be activated. And it's going to receive sort of like, it's almost like you're on the divine brain there. Imagine that you're on the God head, if you will. And as you are on this lotus petal, which symbolizes the divine, you're going to receive energetic updates and upgrades in each and every petal that touches your body. And you're going to start to feel and see in your third eye, and every chakra for that matter, your worth, your power. So with your eyes closed, receiving the love and the light from the divine in the symbol of a lotus petal, which again is the God head, or the divine's energy coming through you. I want you now to start to think positively about yourself. Feel strength in your body, even if you've been suffering from some sort of a physical ailment or weakness. Feel that your back is stronger, your spine is stronger. Feel that your shoulders are broader and more capable of taking on any burden. Feel that your voice is going to come through with a new sort of resonance. It's going to be stronger, clearer, more harmonious. Feel the power in your belly where you hold your relationship dynamics, and also connect to the passionate chakras, which get overlooked. Let's go to the root, feel safe. Let's go to the second one, feel passion, sexual, sensual energy. Really connect all of those to that third chakra, the power point. And now moving into your heart and your throat, I want you to connect all of those with compassion, a big message this month. What is power without compassion? I want you to be able to be a compassionate leader, a compassionate human. And now pull all of that into your throat, third eye, and crown, which is going to help you think, act, speak upon all of these things. You are now completely connected to your divine powers. And I want you to sit up in this beautiful lotus petal ship that you're in, this cosmic vessel, and look into the waters around you. You realize these aren't just regular waters. You're not just in a standard lake. This is the water of your soul. And as you look into the reflection in front of you, see yourself as you would like to be seen, not with any sort of flaws or fears or anxieties. See yourself as the divine just saw you, as powerful, as capable, as beautiful. And as I play the singing bowl here, I want you to start to feel yourself integrating that mirrored image into your mind, into your body, into your heart, and own the love and the light that the universe can see. And hopefully you can see now too. Take a deep breath. I want you to gently reach out towards that reflection. See your hand as you start to approach that reflection, and then something magical happens. Instead of a ripple on the water, the other hand reaches out and holds on to yours. This isn't just a reflection, this is a truth. And imagine that now on this lotus petal that you were sitting on, that the Two of Cups card that we're seeing here is actually you and your higher self seeing each other, knowing each other, trusting each other, embracing. And I want you to see the love and the light that your higher self can see for you. And it may look and feel and be quite different, but it is you. And as the two of you come together and embrace, that higher self will melt into you, and you are now embodying that light, that energy from the divine. You are the Two of Cups. You are the Four of Wands. You are the star. You are that which you seek. And once you embody that, you're not looking for that person. You're not looking for that thing. Another person will find you and see that you are integrated now, but you're not going to be feeling like things are upside down. We just turn them right side up, okay? One last deep breath, inhale. Rub your hands together, feel the heat and the light that you always have within. Put your left hand on your heart, your right hand on top of that. Take a final exhale. Open your eyes. Welcome back. And let's wrap up here. Sorry if I went a little bit over today, but there was a lot to talk about. And so that's how it goes. Thank you, by the way, for everyone. I noticed that there was some chat there. I appreciate everyone that's on Patreon as well. I wish that it connected to YouTube so I could see that, but know that I appreciate you. You have the same perks and benefits and appreciation for everyone that's here as a YouTube member. For anybody that has clicked a super chat, I will later today put a little pinned comment and say thanks. I have a placeholder there now, but I usually put everyone's name that contributes. So I'll do that before the evening is done. If you'd like to connect with me, everything that I'm about to talk about is here on my website, nicholasashbaugh.com. Don't worry if you can't remember the spelling, you can always go to my About tab, and all of these links are there too. And you can click my picture, I think, and then click About. So please join me on social media if you haven't already. I always put story reminders on Instagram and Facebook, and I put links in those too so that you'll be able to get to the video for today, which is important because even I have to remind myself on my schedule sometimes which I'm doing which day. So this is a great way to know. I also use the stories on YouTube, but there's no links in that. On all three of these platforms, I will post all of the cards these cards that I created this morning. So you can find those there later today. Give me time. It takes time to put all these posts together. So usually by evening, they'll all be up. I mentioned for those of you that want to help out on a monthly basis, Patreon is cool because you can do like $1 a month, or now they even let you prepay for a year. So like for $12, it's a vote of confidence for the year ahead. I'm on TikTok. I'm waiting to see what the heck is happening with that platform because it comes and it goes and there's a lot of stuff going on. So feel free to join me when I decide what to do. I will let you know. But my username across all platforms is my full name, nothing before, nothing after. Okay. So if you're following someone else, it's not me. And if you're following a different one, it's not my professional one. So at Nicholas Ashbaugh. A gentle note on this, I'm never going to directly message you. I know someone on social media has tried to impersonate me before, so I'm not going to message you. I'm not going to ask for anything. I use these social media platforms as a way to share stuff with you, okay? Thank you. It's nice. I saw 2 new members today, so welcome. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's the only one with a different user handle and Ashbaugh. Otherwise, everything's my name. And if you'd like to use PayPal, I get a question sometimes if I have that. I do. It's paypal.me/Nicholas Ashbaugh. To make sure that you haven't made any misspellings, just go to my website and everything is there. And finally, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I haven't made up a sheet for it yet, but if you're watching this on replay and think, oh, I never get to join in with the super chats, they have an applaud button now, and you can show support by clicking applaud. And that's that. Thank you so much. I know we're over, so I want to make sure I can wrap up so my moderators can have a nice day and everyone else can go about things. But in the meantime, love and light, everybody. I will be back at the end of the week to wrap up and do Aquarius and Pisces. So I'll be back on Thursday and Friday, and I can't wait to see what's coming through. And then you will have all of your messages for the month ahead. So have a great day, everybody. What a magical and wonderful reading it was today. So nice to be here. Thank you.